Hi, welcome to the Prescott Sunrise Lions Show, presented by the Prescott Media Center at Prescott Armory. I am David A. Snyder, CPA, MBA, and EA with David A. Snyder, CPA. I'm a member of the Prescott Sunrise Lions Club. Please go to prescottsunriselionsclub.org to see the projects we participate in, and come to our meeting every Thursday at 7 a.m. at Waffles and More. We are coming up on tax credit season. Our guest, Lion Chuck Schwartz, will be talking about these tax credits in a few minutes. I am talking about the the other tax credits. First of all, there's a school tuition tax credit, which is $2,100 or $2,203. There's a public schools tax credit, which is $400. There's a foster care tax credit, which is for kids, for example, which is $1,000. And there's the Arizona Military Family Relief Fund, which is $400. Now, the school tuition tax credit is schools like Sacred Heart and Primavera. The public schools are schools like Tri-City, all the charter schools, as well as the public high schools and public other elementary schools. And foster care, I said CASA for kids. And the Arizona Military Family Relief Fund actually helps families that with their their spouse is deployed in various areas around the world, and it helps them get by. But that might be a little bit too late, the Arizona Military Family Relief Fund, because I got a letter saying that my contribution was a little too late because they have a cap of $1 million. So that might be a little too late this year. And next year, work on doing that in June. I used to say November, but now it's probably June. And I want to talk about Lions Club International. This year, we started a new initiative with the diabetes epidemic going around the world. So that's our fifth plank of Lionism, is diabetes. So we had a pilot program that was pretty successful. We got some programs related to diabetes off the ground, and that was pretty successful. And I think that's going to be a great plank, a great resource for us later to help the diabetes people around the world. So again, we had a successful play day that was on September 29th this year. It was very successful. And what happened was we had a play day, which is a barbecue and beer with games like volleyball, softball. There was running and biking and all that kind of thing. And it was pickleball was another one. And it was very successful. We were real happy with it, with the crowds and everything. And we want to. We're going to have it next year too, around the same time period. So put up your calendars that we're going to have this play day. It was really successful. It really helps the community. We gave all our funds to the Yavapai Food Bank and helped them out a little bit. Also, a lot of people brought canned goods for the Yavapai Food Bank, and that was really successful. So we were real happy. I think they had a couple tons of food, and that really helps out the community too. Our guest today is Chuck Schwartz, investment advisor with Ameriprise, and he is going to tell us about the tax credit program. Tell us about yourself a little bit there, Chuck.
Well,
and thanks for coming.
Yeah.
I won't shake your hand. You're sick.
Yeah, Dave is doing that in jest because it's day 2 into a head cold, so don't worry, the viruses will not transmit. Yeah, I've been in Prescott since '97 as a personal financial advisor, business financial advisor. Very interesting work, but I came here today to talk about the Prescott Lions Club and their foundation and how they help raise money for our neighbors in need using the Arizona tax credits that are set up for qualifying charities. Used to be called the working poor, but it's qualifying charities. And so we're going to spend a little bit of time, I told, talking about that.
That's terrific. That's terrific. So tell us about it. Tell us about the organizational tax credit now.
Okay.
Charitable organization tax credit.
That's it. The qualifying charitable organization tax credit simply says that if you make a contribution to local charities that meet the standard that the state of Arizona has set up, which essentially means it's charities that are helping people in need, usually people that are underneath the poverty level, and a few things like that, then they will allow you to take a dollar for dollar credit against your Arizona income taxes up to $400 if you're an individual or $800 if you're filing jointly. So it is a great opportunity and a great tool for our local neighbors to help the community and also help to reduce their tax burden at the state level.
That's a great program, I think, and I always emphasize with my tax clients that they need to take advantage of these tax credits. Only 10% of the eligible people in Arizona take advantage of these tax credits, and it really can help you reduce your taxes. For example, if you owe $2,000 to the state and you paid them $2,000 in charitable organization tax credits, or all these tax credits that I just mentioned too, then you would owe nothing to the state. You get your withholdings back. If you owed $1,000 and you paid in $2,000, and you could carry forward the extra $1,000 up to 5 years. So it's a really good program for you. Now, take advantage of it. So.
Yeah, Arizona is one of the very few states that offers initiatives like this, and having been in this seat, helping to run the tax credit program for the Lions Club for, I don't know, almost going on 10 years now, I think. I am amazed not only by the outpouring of support that our local citizens have, but also the lack of knowledge that the vast majority of people have about any of these tax credit programs. I mean, it's very similar to walking down the street and seeing a dollar bill and then saying, I'm not going to bother to pick it up.
Yeah.
It's free money. It's the return of income tax that you would owe just by making a contribution that you probably would make anyway to any of a number of qualifying charities.
Absolutely. And it's better to pay, one of the charities up here where you control where your money goes. And then you could choose again next year something different if you wanted to, than to give it to the state so they can waste it how they want to waste it.
That's exactly right, Dave. And the Sunrise Lions Foundation has essentially informal interviews all year long for charities in our area that would like to participate through our umbrella of the tax credit program. Some years we take 2 or 3, some years 1. This year we've had one new agency that'll be coming on board. But the main point, the very, very crucial point to remember is that your dollars here are staying local. They're not getting shipped off to some national organization that will then, use it as they need. These are agencies that you're all familiar with or should be familiar with. And then when you make a contribution to the Prescott Sunrise Lions Foundation, www.lionstaxcredit.org, when you make a contribution to the Sunrise Lions Foundation, any agency that you designate on there, 100% of that money is going to go straight to the agency. We don't have any employees, we're a volunteer organization, and so it's 100% pass-through. If you would like to empower our board of directors to make decisions about where dollars should be sent locally, we also have a line item that's called the greatest need. It's literally, it says, used where the need is greatest. And that allows us to react to sometimes very pressing problems that come up, or agencies that have a very large fundraising need. We can step up to help with that.
Yes, and in past years we've given monies to buy scanners for eye scanners for the Yavapai school nurses to go around Yavapai County and scan the kids' eyes in first and second grade, that time period, so that the kids are in the back of the class thinking they're stupid because they can't read the board. So it's really a good program. We use those funds very, very conventionally, conservatively is better
Judiciously.
word. We do it right. Everything, and I never thought that maybe people would think that it was going back to the Lions International. I never thought about that.
No,
because it doesn't go there.
No,
it goes right directly to where it's supposed to go.
Every dollar
where
stays,
you choose
every dollar stays in the Quad City area, or if we max it out somewhere in Yavapai County. But that's it. The bulk of the funds, these are local agencies. When the Lions Foundation is using greatest need dollars, we're using those dollars for something that our neighbors need. As an example, following the tragic fire in Yarnell, we donated several $1,000s to help the folks that had to rebuild their homes be able to buy new appliances. When Yavapai Exceptional Industries was putting a new support building over in Prescott Valley, we were able to donate a fairly substantial amount to them to help with that building project. So we have a lot of flexibility in where these dollars are designated. The eye scanners is a great example. As I said at the start of the program, I've been up here a little bit over 20 years. I came from an area where it was inconceivable to think that there were kids going by that were not diagnosed with having bad eyes. I can tell you from my personal experience that I wasn't diagnosed as being essentially blind until after second grade. The school nurses now have an exceptionally wonderful set of tools, these scanners, and they go around to all of the schools in Yavapai County and they screen young kids to find out if they're seeing okay, if there are perhaps diseases of the eye that need to be addressed. This actually ties in with another program that the Lions has, because we have a set of local eye doctors that will volunteer their time. If we identify a young child that needs special glasses, that may need surgery, or if you'll go on our website, there's a great video about a young man who was essentially blind and needed what are called scleral lenses, a specialized type of contact lens. We were able to get that done pretty much behind the scenes. We do not go for a lot of glory. We just try to work where the need is greatest, probably why they call it greatest need.
Absolutely.
And help our neighbors.
So tell us about some of the other programs that we give to.
Well, I'll tell you about a new program this year, which is called Boys to Men. The best way to think about this, it's sort of like a mixture of Boy Scouts and Big Brothers and Outward Bound. The organization has a volunteer network of adult men who volunteer their time to do mentoring for teenagers that have just turned teens, probably in the most of their kids that they mentor are in the 13 to 15-year-old range. They're trying to help them understand responsibility, accountability, integrity, and they do that through one-on-one mentoring sessions. They also have wilderness type experiences. Well, they'll go out to one of the camps for a weekend or sometimes even for a week, and it just gives young men the ability to learn in a non-threatening, nurturing type of environment what it takes to be a real guy. The reason that the organization is doing so well, the reason that our Prescott Sunrise Lions Club got behind it, is that in our area, it is often difficult for teenagers, men that are starting their teen years, to rely on a role model. They may have both parents working. The husband may not have time. Sometimes you have broken homes where there is no husband or no positive role model. And sometimes they get their role models from other kids at school, which does not necessarily lead to great results.
Absolutely.
So Boys to Men is working to circumvent that, to instill in these youths of our area the importance of integrity and responsibility, and do it on a one-on-one or group type mentoring thing.
Absolutely, it's great. It's a great program, and I've known some people that were in part of that program, and they were real good people too. And I always encourage that. And we also help out with YEI. You mentioned Yavapai
Yeah.
Exceptional Industries, Casa for Kids, Sight and Hearing.
Well, we have 19. I think the number is 19 different agencies that we support, Dave, and they range from something like Boys to Men, where it's very uplifting, to some places, some programs where you wish you didn't have to support them. We have Yavapai Family Advocacy Center that we support, and we also have Prescott Area Shelter Services. I wish that we didn't have the need for these type of agencies in our area,
Yes.
but we do. Lions Club is supporting them. The Family Advocacy Center, I just said that just to make sure that the mouth is still working. The Advocacy Center works with youths that have been abused, and they provide them support, they provide them safe locations, and they help go through the process of identifying, of investigating that, and when it comes to it, prosecuting. The Prescott Area Shelter Services provides a safe, secure location for women or women with children who have been abused, and both of those are helping areas of our society where you have citizens, our neighbors, whether they're kids or adult women, they are at risk or have been abused, taken advantage of, etc. These are two crucial agencies. There are other agencies in the Quad City area that do similar types of things. I am not, saying anything negative about them, but these two are the ones that our Lions Club are supporting.
Yes. The one that kind of bothers me that you mentioned that we had to that we shouldn't have to do this because people should step up is the Hungry Kids Project.
Yeah, and that is such a great example. Here is a frightening fact for our area, and for dramatic effect, I'll actually turn to the camera. The frightening fact is that there are a lot of kids who rely on the free school lunch that they get at public schools for their main meal of the day. When the weekend rolls around, they may not have access to food, or maybe not much food for lunch. And so the Hungry Kids Project provides lunch for these kids at schools. They cover the entire Quad City area. They provide schools for these kids so that over the weekend they're able to have a nutritious meal. This not only helps them in their studies because they don't walk in Monday thinking, boy, I am so hungry, I can't wait till lunch, and then not be able to focus on what's happening in the classroom. And it also helps to reduce the amount of theft that may occur as they try to find food in ways that most people would prefer that they didn't. So Hungry Kids Project is a wonderful, wonderful organization. We wholeheartedly support them. And actually, they were our number 2 agency recipient of funds last year. They had a little bit over $15,500 that they
Wow.
received through the Lions Foundation.
That's really great. That's really terrific. I'm really
Absolutely.
happy about that. Now, tell us about the results of last year.
Well, I'm a little disappointed by last year. We only raised a little bit over $148,000, which was about a $45,000 increase from the previous year. Obviously, I am very, very pleased with that. I'm just being
Yes.
ironic. And this gives me the direct ability to thank our local neighbors for being so generous and being willing to support our neighbors in need, on a timely basis. It's very, very gratifying to see this, and so, as Dave has alluded, the reason that I am here is to remind our viewers that tax credit season is getting ready to ramp up again. Dave has already been on the radio several times, just laying the groundwork for that. Our Lions Foundation will use our multifaceted approach to asking for funds. We'll be doing inserts again through the courier, in addition to display ads. We have direct mail letters that we send out to our previous donors. And we have a number of different initiatives where we are trying to make our local citizens aware of the program, aware of what our Sunrise Lions Foundation does,
Yep.
and hopefully for the 2008 tax credit season, we'll be able to do even better.
Yes, and again, you have until April 15th to give those contributions. If you do planning for your taxes, for example, and you can do them before 12/31, it would help you. Now we have a proposal out there. Let me back up a little bit. There's a proposal out there from the federal government that some of these tax credits might not help you on the federal if you paid after August 27th. We only had 3 days to kind of digest that and get that information out. So most of you probably don't know that, but I think there's going to be some complaining about this, some litigation about the federal government only letting us have 4 days or 3 or 4 days, and then also the fact that they did this to this tax credit program. But again, you can take these tax credits on your Arizona tax return, and they really help you. The federal return was just a plus, okay? The federal return was just itemized deductions, part of the charitable tax or charities that you would contribute to
contributions
as part of itemized deductions, and but that's a plus. This tax credit really helps you on your Arizona tax credit program, so take advantage of it. And also, do you think the results, because it was extended to April 15th, do you think the results the last 2 years increasing so much because it was extended to the 15th, plus it was doubled to $800?
Good point, Dave. Absolutely, I agree with that. The state of Arizona, at the end of the 2016 season, extended the tax credit season to April 15th instead of cutting off at December 31st. In addition, they doubled the amount that could be contributed to qualifying charities, from $400 to $400 for individuals or $800 for married. So the fact that we're able to continue to accept contributions right up until the April 15th deadline, I am positive has helped us a lot. One of the problems that we had under the old way, which essentially was tied with the federal return, which says everything stops at the end of the tax year, unless you're doing something like contributing to an IRA, which we're not talking about today. That stopped at the end of the year, so the tax credit stopped at the end of the year. But most people, when they're doing taxes, they don't think about it until they have to file their taxes, and that is, for many people, it might be at the start of the year if they're looking to get a refund, but for the majority of people, it's in the March to April range, and then they're really starting to think, what can I do that would help? And now all of a sudden there is the Arizona tax credit for qualifying charities that's available. And so that has indeed helped our numbers.
Absolutely, I think so too. And when I'm working with clients, I tend to hold off finishing their tax return, asking them if they owe something for Arizona, $127. I say, why don't you just do a tax credit, and then you can still, as long as it's before April 15th, and then you could still, your tax burden would be zero to the state.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So I make sure during tax planning, if I have a tax plan person, as well as to the people that I don't really plan with because they don't necessarily come into plan, but they do their tax return before April 15th. I say, hey, let's do this instead of you sending it down to Phoenix so they can waste it like they want to.
Yeah, and actually, for those of us watching at home, I'll give you this little challenge. We did a little informal tracking last year. One of our members, Chip Weber, went to all the CPAs in the area, and he gave them some of our brochures in addition to explanation about the tax credit program. We only got back a very, very small handful of those forms measuring contributions. Now, part of that is people have other agencies they want to contribute to, but the other part, which I find a little disappointing, is that many of the tax professionals in our area really do not seem to want to take the initiative to remind their clients that they could make a contribution to a qualifying charity. Doesn't have to be the Lions Foundation. It could be somebody else, and take advantage of that. So talk to your tax advisor as you're going in.
Or come to me, and I will force it upon you.
Dave will definitely do that.
Because I'm one of the few that did. Okay, so let me conclude here. We are the Prescott Sunrise Lions Club, and would like to invite you to our club meeting, which is held at Waffles and More at 7 a.m. every Thursday. You will find that our club is friendly and fun, but also very engaged in the Prescott and Prescott Valley communities. We joke and laugh and fully understand our purpose in the community we serve. If you want to be part of such a group, then become a member of the club. I would like to thank the Prescott Media Center, Jim, Linda, and Emma for helping us with this program today. I would like to thank Chuck Schwartz, our Supreme Lion, for running this wonderful and helpful tax credit program.
Yeah, don't know about that Supreme part, just a lion.
All right. I just want to thank him for coming and helping us out with that program. So thank you very much. And I would shake your hand, but you're sick.